Oh, it's one of my favorite times of the week. Welcome into the Coach and a Bro Show. I am one half of this dynamic duo. I am the coach, and you are watching one of our three shows that comes out of BTT Studios. While you are here, I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that like button on your way in, and please share the show. Now, we've got a lot of topics, but if you come here for us to break down Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, this is not the place. We take on the bigger topics, whatever they might be, from well over 20, 25, 30 years of experience inside the WWE, WCW, TNA, the pro wrestling business. And sometimes it just feels right. Before I say my thank yous, we got to bring in my partner. We haven't been together because of schedules for almost 2 weeks, but damn it, is it good to see my man back on the other side of that screen? My man, Vince Russo from russosbrand.com. Vince, it is so good to see and talk to you, brother. Good afternoon.
Coach, I was having coach withdrawal, man. I really missed our shows, man. I didn't have you here for a couple of weeks. You didn't have me here last Thursday. Bro, it's great to be back in the saddle with you, Coach.
Yeah, it really, really is. By the way, tell the good people at home how they can be a part of this show if they so choose.
Yeah, guys, we love you to be a part of this discussion, but keep in mind, Coach and I are working here. This is how we made a living. So if you want to become a part of this discussion, we will read your questions or your comments. We'll put them right on the screen, but you got to do it through a super sticker or a donation to support us, support Producer Man, support this show.
You're damn right. We are presented by Deemer Box and Shop Mando at shopmando.com. But Vince, I got to hit something before we even get started. Because you know me, and you know it's not my style to toot my own horn or pat myself on the back. However, I was sitting on an airplane 1 week ago today, and I said, I'll hit the link. I've got some time to kill. And I see you come in and bring Big Tommy C in. And what did you guys do? Well, you took shot after shot. Coach is on vacation. He's laying on the beach, blah, blah, blah. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to bring in a guest host on Thursday that's going to blow things out of the water just to show Vince and Big Tommy the stroke that I have. So we brought in JD from New York.
Yes.
So I don't know if you've got a chance to look at last week's episode and the view count, but Vince, we added almost 1,000 subs to the brand, and the show is currently at 12,000 views from Thursday. So toot, your take.
Hey, listen, I am a big fan of JD from New York. It's not that him and I agree on everything, but I'm a big fan of his. He speaks his mind. He's a New Yorker. We all do. And tremendous, bro. I'm glad you hooked up with him, and I'm glad you guys had a very, very successful show. But JD, with all due respect, bro, you ain't replacing me. I mean, whether it's 12,000, 22,000, 12 billion, even if it's 12, even if it's Hulk numbers, you're not replacing me on this show, bro.
That's for damn sure. But we do thank you for stepping in.
Yes,
We had a great time, and we love adding people to the brand, but we have our OGs here, and our OGs will never be replaced. One other housekeeping item, don't forget tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern time, live on Stadium, Amazon Prime, DirecTV. It's The Last Word. Me, Big Tommy C, Gabby, and tonight, and we also have Russo's Rant every week too. But Vince, we have former WWE superstar Victoria, Lisa Marie.
Oh, I love Victoria. Love Victoria. One of my favorite people in the whole world. Love her.
She's great. She's excited. So tune in to that. You can also watch it on YouTube or socials, but we encourage you to watch it on Stadium on network television, it's where we're going to be very soon, Vince. We're going to have this show on Stadium very soon.
Looking forward to it, bro. The more the merrier, Coach.
You're damn right. All right, let's get into it. We got 5 big topics today, and we got to start with what happened last week on SmackDown. And as I watched it, I was kind of reading social media on The Rock showing up, and I thought it was going to be, he would, announce, well, next year's WrestleMania is going to be in the Big Easy. But then he went into this whole thing that got very weird to me, and having Cody Rhodes be the corporate champion, and my mind went right back. And you were there at this time, so I couldn't wait to get your take of when Vince and Stone Cold started their thing where he was against the establishment and all of that. Rock made it seem like he's now running everything at TKO, everything at WWE, and wants Cody to be his champion. Let's start right there. What did you make of that?
Yeah, coach, I'm gonna say this. And listen, man, I'm gonna stop feeling sorry for kind of putting Triple H through the ringer, and now I'm gonna be putting Road Dogg through the ringer. Listen, man, I work with these guys for a lot of years. I consider them friends. They're good people. They're not television writers. Okay? I know that. They know that. And it shows on all these shows. Coach, I never thought The Rock would ever look bad in a promo.
Okay.
He looked bad on Friday night because it was very confusing. They seem to be reaching for straws. Vince, what do you mean confusing? Okay, I will explain to you, and I will explain the big, gigantic hole, and they will leave holes because they're not writers. Coach, if we go back to McMahon versus Austin, even though the people loved Austin, even though Austin was a draw, even though in storyline content, Austin was making Vince money, Austin was an embarrassment to Vince. He was not the type of champion that Vince wanted to represent the WWE. He was drinking beer. He was double birding. He was cursing. So the reality of it was, even though the people loved him, even though from a business point of view, he was making Vince money, he was also a disgrace to Vince as the champion. That's why Vince wanted him out. That's why Vince tried to conform him.
Yes.
All right, so we got a situation now with The Rock. First of all, bro, early on in the promo, he reminds us about his new Disney movie that just made $2 million on the weekend or whatever. What is it? Winona?
Moana.
Okay,
Moana.
So number one, he's telling us about his Disney movie, Moana. Then he's also turning around telling everybody, look how they love you, Cody. They all love you. They love you. Okay, man, then Rock, if they love him and he's making you money, then why do you want his soul? You know, Cody is the perfect champion, bro. He does the Make-A-Wishes. He's well-spoken. He looks good. He's over with the fans. Why would you want him replaced as your champion? Or why would you want him to turn to the dark side? It makes no sense. This is the problem, bro, when you got writers, when you got wrestlers writing the show. If you want me to understand why Rock, Mr. Disney, wants the soul of somebody that he's saying the fans love you, listen to them, they all love you. Well, if you want me to buy into that, then you're going to have to explain that to me, because on the surface, Coach, it makes zero sense.
Well, it goes back to what we talk about a lot, that once TKO took over, Vince, and they bought the WWE, and Michael Cole said it on the Impulsive podcast last week. He's like, it's about stories. It's not even close to about wrestling anymore. We're writing for Hollywood. And so for him to promote his movie, that's TKO saying, we're your agents and we get a piece of that pie. So let's get it out there so we can get that every last dollar from that movie. And that I would have been saying, I'm going to be in a Martin Scorsese movie. If I'm going to promote something, it's going to be the Leonardo DiCaprio, movie that he's going to be in. But where I found it confusing, and you say, explain this to me. And this is why I love having these discussions with you, because when you skip over one thing, now all of a sudden you're like, wait a second. If Vince, say you and I were in a battle and I beat the absolutely ever-loving tar out of you outside of your bus several months ago. There is not a world that I live in where when you walk into the ring and say, hey, I got respect for you now. We become friends the last several months. When? When did you become friends on the show, not off the show? Because now we made it clear that we are separating to two worlds. So when you're in the ring, you can't talk about something that happens outside of that universe because now it's supposed to be a movie. Am I on track here?
You are 100% on track because, again, Coach, when you don't have writers and there's no logic and there's no explanation, here's what the WWE wants you to do.
Okay.
They want you to forget. We're supposed to forget about the beating at the bus. All that, we're supposed to forget that because, Coach, we need to forget that in order for this to make sense.
To work.
That's what they do, bro. And again, I'll beat the horse. It's a lack of writing. And then, Coach, to add to that, we're talking about Endeavor. We're talking about Nick Khan. We're talking about Ari Emanuel. How many people watching this show has no clue who those people are? How many?
All of them.
Absolutely. I mean, they are 1,000,000,000% catering to the marks, the people already watching the show. Nobody knows who Ari Emanuel is. Nobody cares who Ari Emanuel is. Bro, I have never seen a Rock promo since I first met the dude in 96 where it was all over the place, bro. And this made no sense.
Real quick, we do have people watching all the way from Portugal right now live. So shout out to Portugal as the coach of Broshut is worldwide. He is Vince Russo. I am the coach. This is the Monday edition. We're here twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays live, or you can catch us on demand. So the one thing we like to do here at the show, Vince, is give them a solution because a lot of shows will complain. What would you have done if they're trying to get to a point where they want to create this, which would I believe would turn Cody heel, and he sells a lot of merch and he's their babyface champion, and you got Gunther on the other side? Why would you want to have two heel champions? I'm not sure about that, but what would you have done to try to get this over the goal line if you have to do it?
Well, I mean, Coach, exactly what you said, because I am a firm believer you've got to protect every talent. Mm-hmm. So you got to start this thing with Cody reminding him what happened at that bus, and Cody reminding him there's a receipt coming that you haven't gotten yet. And once we even that score, then we'll talk about business going further. You've got to address everything that happened. But Coach, they're on a slippery slope because I'm going to throw back to JD. Okay. JD was talking about, okay, Rock wants a heel corporate champion. Why? I don't know. And that's another, is Rock a babyface? Is he in Disney movies? Is he a heel? I don't know what he is anymore. I don't know. But now JD said, you know what? What if Cody turns down that role and it's CM Punk that becomes the sellout and the corporate champion?
Okay.
That's what JD said. Bro, we're walking a real slippery slope here, because either way, bro, this could backfire on you. They love Punk. They want Punk to go to the main event of WrestleMania. Bro, if Punk turns heel and becomes the corporate Rock, bro, there's a very good chance they can cheer Punk and boo Cody Rhodes. So they got to be real careful about the way they play this. So what's the other alternative? The other alternative is to turn Cody Rhodes heel and have CM Punk, now replace him as the babyface. But either way, bro, this is a crapshoot. And the reason why it's a crapshoot is they have not solidified who are the baby faces, who are the heels, and why. They've not solidified that.
You guys just got a 101 in pro wrestling right there, because in every good feud, you have to have a heel. You have got to have a baby face. And when you're leading up to WrestleMania, and this is the next 2 months, Vince, is they sell the most merch. They sell the most of everything. You've got to have your most popular guys out front. And that's where I agree with you, that when you've got see every time CM Punk comes out right now, a lot of his promos are factual. Drew McIntyre, that was a great one-on-one. Seth Rollins, that was a great main event. CM Punk, whether people want to admit it or not, has come in and at least on the surface been a great backstage teammate. And right now, you're pushing towards, you could see if CM Punk wins at WrestleMania, that could be a gigantic pop at the end of the night, which is what you want at the end of every WrestleMania, whatever that pop is. And I agree with you. There's a lot here, and I think that we both agree it was very weird. I did not expect The Rock to do it, and I also feel like The Rock on some level is trying to cement himself as the person who makes the decisions, and that he wants to show Triple H as we move this forward, as I do less and less movies. Is he going to put Brian Gewirtz, his right-hand guy, in charge of writing Monday Night Raw? That could be something that happens. And I never thought The Rock would be back doing the corporate thing, but that part's a little bit weird to me too. Playing the role of Vince is now Dwayne Johnson.
Right. We're going to take a little right-hand turn here, Coach.
Okay.
Because I want to revisit something I said a long time ago, because now I'm starting to see more and more things where I don't know if I was as off base as I thought I may have been.
Okay. What do you mean?
I said early on in this, was Ari Emanuel, Triple H, Nick Khan, and Stephanie McMahon in cahoots to have Vince McMahon outed? Were they maybe behind Janelle Grant and maybe talking to her? And here's the reason why I say that, Coach.
Okay.
More and more on a weekly basis, we are seeing things with this company that Vince would have never agreed to.
Such as?
Oh my God. Sponsors on the mat.
Oh God. He hated that.
Ticket prices. Indie wrestlers becoming main eventers. There's a lot of stuff that would not have happened on Vince's dime. So now you ask yourself a couple of questions. Did they purposely get Vince out of the way? And now this is Hollywood, Coach, like you said. Mm-hmm. Do we take it to the next level where Ari Emanuel plotted with Triple H and Stephanie and Nick Khan to oust Vince? Is the same Ari Emanuel now plotting with Rock to oust Triple H and Stephanie? Bro, that's how this thing works. You know, people, when I come on here and talk about
Vince, real quick, I just want to interrupt you because we have 2 super stickers I want to get to before we get away from the Rock situation. I'll let you come back. Is that cool? Yeah, so Nonsense McGee, thank you for the super sticker. Says, appreciate the analysis. And yeah, Rock was sloppy, but they're just starting the story. And I hate when that thing is there. Sorry. I hate that little thing. There we go. Mania. There's too much talent there for it not to be entertaining. Marks or not, got 2 months to go. Your initial take to that one.
Nonsense McGee, that is nonsense. Because every week it's not entertaining, bro. These shows are not entertaining. So what are you talking about, bro? Too close to Mania. Too much talent there for it not to be entertaining. It's not entertaining every single week, bro. Like, when was it entertaining? I must have missed that stretch.
And then the other one, and this one's kind of interesting, from Casa D18 Studios. What if it's Cena instead? He seemed pretty desperate for number 17 at the Rumble press scrum. Cena could be Hollywood corporate Cena. That might be interesting if they're lining up for that instead of Cody.
That could very, very much work, Casa. I like that a lot better. But then we also have to look at, how does John Cena want to go out? So they would have to do a heel turn and back to a babyface turn within the next year. But that route is much, much safer than CM Punk. But would Cena have agreed to come back the last year to be a heel? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
And he also is shooting a movie right now, which is why I believe they're doing 3 straight weeks, Vince, of Raw TV tapings. in Europe, where he's coming back to do the chamber match, and he's going back to work on his movie. So they're taking the production over there so he can be, and he's going to be on every single TV taping over there. So if they're going to do this, this would be the month to do it, because he'll be there for every single Raw, not SmackDown, Raw. And The Rock was on SmackDown, and they're still doing this nonsense of the whole brand split thing. This is where you need to start just saying, yeah, they're two shows, but it's one company and one group of talent, because that's what they need for this storyline right now.
I agree, Coach.
All right. Very, very good. Thank you for the super stickers. If you want to be involved in the conversation, you can see how much it means to us. This stuff has to make sense, because you're looking at the greatest writer in the history of pro wrestling. And when you're writing stuff, everything has to make sense. And you can't forget about stuff that happened 3, 4, 6, 8 months ago. You got to carry the stories forward. All right, storyline number 2. And I think I'm going to flip-flop, and Producer Man kills me when I do this. But this makes sense for what we just came off of, that you recently made headlines, Vince, for saying that pro wrestling is now written for children. I got somebody sent me an app or an interview that you did or you said on your show. What did you mean by that when you said that?
What every time Raw or SmackDown ends, Coach, I feel like an absolute idiot for watching that show, because it's a show for idiots. It is written for idiots, and I watch it because I get paid, but I have also announced, Coach, I will continue to watch the WWE until my 65th birthday, which is not till January. Okay. So I have 11 months. Once I turn 65, I will never, ever watch another WWE show. What that means is I will leave money on the table, because I cannot be a 65-year-old man watching a show that is written for 5-year-old children. So you've got 11 months of me telling you how it is. This will be my last WrestleMania. And Coach, I am done. I cannot sit there on a Monday or a Friday anymore and waste 5 more minutes of my time, because I might not have that much time left, Coach.
I will address that right here and right now and say this. By the way, Nonsense McGee, another super sticker. He says, I live to live up to my name, even with my crazy thoughts. Hey, Nonsense, you keep throwing in super stickers. You can throw all the crazy thoughts you want. We'll read them.
And the only thing that was crazy, Nonsense, that you said was you used the word entertaining with the WWE. That was the only crazy thing that you said, bro.
So let me address your little, I'm going to do a 2025 Vince Russo farewell tour. Now, I will allow you on russosbrand.com or Sportskeeda or any of your other jobs to do whatever you want to do. But I will be damned if next January you walk away from the Coach and Bro Show, even if that means that I have to sit through the shows and watch them myself.
Coach,
I
want to make it clear. Never said I was walking away. I will not watch Raw, SmackDown, or any other WWE wrestling show again. I love talking about, Coach, the business of the business. I love discussing headlines, politics. I could talk about that stuff all day long. I cannot sit through a show written for 5-year-olds when I'm a 65-year-old man. So I'm not retiring. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying I will no longer watch this nonsense on Mondays and Friday nights.
Okay. Very good. As long as we're clear that you and I will continue to be partners. That's all I care about.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Topic number 3. And by the way, you're watching the Coach and Bro Show. We're live every single Monday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Then, of course, you can watch us on demand right here at our BTT Studios YouTube home page. Now, Vince, one thing I cannot stand is when a talent, any talent, tells me that they're going to do something and then it's a month and then multiple months and then you get advertised and we hear nothing. It was a year ago at this time that the Becky Lynch rumors really started to ramp up. When is she coming back? Is she getting her new contract? I said right here on this show, I think she's asking for between $2 and $3 million a year. And Endeavor and TKO, they have a history, whether it's at the UFC or WWE, of not paying other than a few guys. That's what they do. They don't pay talent a ton of money unless you're Cody, Roman, etc. So she went on the Ariel Helwani show. Very vague. Well, I don't think it's been the last time you've heard of me. I don't think this. I don't think that. And then several months goes by. Then what happened, Vince? She gets advertised that she's at the photo shoot for the debut of Raw on Netflix. Right. So we're waiting. No Becky Lynch. Then we get to the Royal Rumble. Oh, it's got to be a run-in. This has got to be where she starts absolutely nothing. So she recently went on the, make sure I get this right, on Getting Over Wrestling podcast. And she was asked specifically, Vince, about her future. And the host, don't know who he is, mistakenly called her a full-time wrestler, which she has not been for well over a year. Listen to her response to what her future holds. Producer man, roll tape.
How much longer do you see yourself wrestling full-time? And whenever you do stop full-time, do you think it's going to be one of those situations where, look, that was the part of my life and it's over? Or are you someone who's always going to want to come back for periodic short little runs, kind of like a John Cena?
I don't know. I don't know any of I don't know the answer to these questions. I genuinely don't. And I'm being so vague, and I don't mean to be in any way cagey, but I feel like I have a great mind for wrestling. A great love for it, and so it's always going to be there in my heart and in my head, and it's it's part of my family. It's the reason I have my family, so it's so important to me. I just don't know what that looks like in the future. Yeah. I genuinely don't have any answers for you, because I don't know. I don't know. I think life continues to surprise me in wonderful ways recently. And you can make all of these plans, and sometimes they don't fall, they don't go the way that you intended. But in the long run, it's something works out and something becomes better than you have expected.
Vince, she is one of the, if not the biggest female name in the history of wrestling. She's nicknamed the Man. Why she goes on these shows to give answers like that, I will never understand, but I'm over it. I'm tired of it. And at least tell us something, or just go be a mother. But this is starting to get annoying as hell. Your take.
I'm very confused, Coach. That was I knew Becky had said some things because I saw it online, but this is the first time I've seen it or heard it. So this is my initial response to it. Okay. Coach, listen, I know you. And I know you mirror me when it comes to this. One part of being successful, Coach, is you have a plan. You know what you're doing at all times. You're not playing things by chance. I'm going to work at the WWE for this long, then I'm going to go do this, then I want to do that. I know that's how you are, Coach, because that's 100%. How I am.
100%.
Because, Coach, I've always said this, man, a big part of life, and I'm just throwing this advice out to people out there. Bro, there are going to be parts of your life where you absolutely hate what you're doing, but you're able to get through those points in your life because you're working towards something. And that something you're working towards is always the light at the end of the tunnel. So as long as you know, okay, I may not like this, and I may not be where I want to be this minute. However, this is necessary for me to get to here. That's the light of the tunnel. That's what keeps you going. I'm sorry, man, but I cannot believe that somebody with Becky Lynch's career, Becky Lynch is now a mother and she has a daughter. So there is somebody else to take into account here. It's not just Becky. She's got a family now. I just cannot believe that she has no idea what she's going to be doing next, unless, Coach, like you've speculated all along, unless she's not getting offered the money that she thought she was going to get offered. I don't know anything. I don't have any insight. I am just going from an introspective feel. That was my takeaway from that, Coach. Like, it's not in my hands.
So here's the deal, Vince. And you know me, I don't say anything on the show unless I have a pretty dialed in connection to it. And have I said anything? I can't think of one thing. Like the last week, the Shane, part of the reason we got such a higher viewership is my story about Shane and AEW and ghosting Tony Khan. I know that information to be true. And you know what hasn't happened in those 4 days, Vince? Nobody's disputed it.
Right.
Not one time.
Right.
Last year when she went on Ariel Helwani's show and she goes, well, Ariel, I don't think we've seen the last of Becky Lynch. And then nothing happens. That screams contract to me. And when your husband or better half, or I don't know if they're married, when Seth Rollins is still a main event player for the WWE, and she talks about in that interview her family, then it screams contract to me. But Vince, here's the deal. She got advertised for Netflix. This is now taking away from the other women in this division. At the Royal Rumble, did you not feel that every time a number hit, people were like, up, 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 and then they get to the final five? I actually saw people on social media going, we've only got 5 left. She's got to be one of them. And then it took away from the pop of the last 5 or the last 3 because it wasn't her.
Right.
And to me at this point, Vince, here's my last thing. When you're out of sight, you are out of mind. And she's been gone for well over a year. Charlotte Flair, when she came back, there was this big, we're going to promote her. She's coming back because she's one of the 2 biggest names, in my opinion. It's Charlotte, it's Becky. So now if I want to come back and they clearly are not willing to pay her, why don't you just come out and say, listen, I want to come back. I want to be in wrestling. I want to be in the WWE, but they're not paying me or we can't come to an agreement. But this whole nonsense of I don't have the answers. It's been over a year. You have to have the answers to this. And yet you're still going on these shows, Vince, to do these interviews. And all these shows are like, man, I can't believe we're getting Becky Lynch on. At some point, when does her star power fade? And these shows say, we're going to ask you about this. Do you have an answer? And if you don't, then don't bring her on.
Coach, let me ask you this. I want to pick your brain for a second. What is the backlash of her saying that? If she comes clean and says, listen, man, we've been talking contract, this long, blah, blah, blah. We just haven't been able to.
Severely underrated. That's all I'll say. All right, we about ready? Let's do this thing.
Cody Rhodes, I want your mind. I want your soul. If your answer is no, the dream dies again.
I gave my soul to this ring and these people a long time ago. Hey, Rock, go f*** yourself.
Kidding me. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Cody could have had it all. It was his John Cena with no soul.
One of the greatest heel turns in the history of the business. And we saw it on Saturday night. And tonight we take a step forward. What's good, everybody? Welcome into The Last Word, your new favorite pro wrestling show immediately after Monday Night Raw, every single Monday right here on Stadium and all of their platforms. We are available, listen to this, in over 100 million homes, live on Amazon Prime Video, live on DirecTV, live on YouTube TV, Roku TV. The list goes on and on. Yeah. Oh, we saw that tonight. Goosebumps. And we've got to talk about it all over the course of the next hour. We got to go to promo school. We got to flip the script. We have the last word, but I cannot do this by myself. Shout out to producer man for the incredible cold open that he cut just now. Now, bring in my cohorts in crime. First and foremost, she is fired up tonight. The host of the Gabby AF podcast, but she's on our team every single week. Gabby, good evening. Are you in a good mood, my dear?
I was in a good mood, and then a couple hours went by, and now I'm not in the best mood, but we'll talk about it. We'll get to it. It's a roller coaster.
It really is. Next, he spent 32 years inside of the WWE. Nobody has more knowledge about this company and this business than my man right there in the center. Please say hello to Big Tommy C, Tommy Carlucci. Good evening, sir.
What's happening, Coach? What's happening, Gabby? 32 years, and I'm still banging my head against the wall with what I saw on Saturday night. And the best part about it, we were doing it with the coach, and he was giving me the commentary. Unbelievable.
It was like old school, right? All right. We're gonna get to tonight in about 20 minutes. We're gonna be here full hour, but we've got to start and kind of tell the story as it goes because we've had 2 days to digest this, and we had a live watch along Saturday. Gabby, thank you for showing up.
Thanks
and
for
we
the
had
invite,
a great
by the way.
time.
I appreciate it.
What's that?
Thank you for the invite that I never got. I must have got lost in the email stratosphere.
Apparently, Tommy, we didn't advertise it forever. It said whoever wanted to come on. But anyway, I digress. But
I'm not doing this tonight. I'm already in a mood, Coach. I'm already in a mood.
All right.
Do not get me fired up.
We thought, because I know you are, we thought that it was either going to be CM Punk or Seth Rollins. But the way that this topic has taken over sports shows, the world, trending for not just a day, but 48 hours leading into tonight is like something I've never seen before. I was in the building, Gabby, the last time The Rock rocked the house at Rogers Center, WrestleMania 18. I think last night was more shocking than what we saw that night with Hulk Hogan. What is your reaction 48 hours later, knowing we still have some stuff to talk about on Raw, but it set the stage for what could have been a really big night in Buffalo?
I mean, I absolutely loved it. I think it transcended sports. Like you said, it was talked about everywhere. I had friends texting me that I know don't even watch wrestling currently and are like, holy crap, did Cena really just turn heel? Like, I heard, is he bad now? Like, what's going on? And that's what they wanted to do, right? That's what you want. You want to hit the fans who kind of know what's going on and might not be in it anymore. So everything they did made what they wanted to happen. I say F Cena now. I'm already angry. You know Cody's my guy. F Cena, F Rock. I want to see them get their ass handed to them. And I want to see Cody beat Cena at WrestleMania. I don't want to see this title change, BS, whatever it is. I'm over it, and he deserves it. But it was beautiful. It was cinema. It was beautiful cinema.
It really was. And you got to have two guys, Tommy, that know timing, that know facials, that are good actors. Because the way, and this is why you rehearsed during the afternoon, the way they shot it with Cena in the background going bananas, Cody saying, Rock, go F yourself. And then they give the bro hug, and then the face goes. And then the Rock gives the slit the throat thing. That was absolutely perfect. But I will say, the only thing that would have made it better is if we got a payoff tonight. No Rock, no Cena, no Cody, no bueno.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? You give us all this ammunition and you shoot this gun, and by the way, nobody better than Cena and Rock. Cena selling out the big time babyface, going crazy when he gives him the big FU, right? And then he shakes his hand and then gives the look was unbelievable. Those camera guys had to be dead nuts on this to cut through the camera too. Back to three, wherever they were going, they knew what Rock was going to do. It was perfect cinema, Coach. And here's the thing, 500 million views, Coach, since Saturday night. 500 million. Think of that. 500 million views. They were talking it on WFAM, sports radio here in New York. They talked about it in the mid show, and they talked about it in the early morning show about Cena. Was this the greatest swerve of all time? The greatest heel turn of all time? I don't know if it's that, but when you got people talking about it on the radio like that, you know you did something big. But you're right, Coach. The ball was dropped. No Cena, no Rock, no Cody.
The reason it was the greatest of all time, I've heard people talk about comparing it to NWO and Hulk Hogan, and that's probably closest comparison, Gabby, because Hogan during the 80s and the early 90s, he was the all-American guy. Eat your vitamins, say your prayers, the whole deal. John Cena was the modern-day Hulk Hogan. I saw a parody account today, and I almost got bit by it because there's so many accounts out there that say, and I don't know if you guys saw this one, but they said that the WWE has filed to copyright Break a Wish. And it almost got me. But then I thought it's a great joke because we're talking about the two guys that have both broken the record at one point in their careers for the most wishes granted. And to think about the financial aspect of this, and Gabby, John Cena is going to lose millions of dollars. And TKO better be making it up on the back end because you saw now, what did you say? I hate John Cena. Literally overnight. You're not buying his hat. You're not buying his T-shirt. You're not buying the new whatever. And he was willing to sacrifice that for one last meaningful legacy run heading up to WrestleMania. And now it opens the door for a lot of things. But you got to have the guys in the building to take the step forward, and you can't rely on CM Punk, which we'll get to in about 9 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, he's going to do it, this is the time, it's the last year, and it's going to be the final power punch to his face. Mm-hmm. Also, and if you're talking parody accounts, I saw someone tweeting like, do we all see John Cena now? And I literally popped so loud because I think that's the funniest thing ever. Like, okay, now we see you. Or they said like, because John Cena follows everyone on Twitter. Like, is he just going to unfollow everybody now? Like, it is funny, but also at the end of the day, like, you're so right about him deciding to do this now changes everything for him. But that's what it takes to make a statement. And I honestly think this was the only way to get this kind of investment with Cena leading into WrestleMania. And I don't think I'm in the majority of that. I am probably in the minority, but you have to understand this about me, Coach. I wasn't a fan of pro wrestling when it was Cena's time and he was this uber babyface. I didn't watch. So I'm watching now in this new era of pro wrestling where Cody's my babyface. And those are my people that I'm like, those are my number one always. I could never see the heel turn on him, which maybe will happen one day. And that would shock me the most in the world. But now it's easy for me to turn on Cena because I wasn't invested in him in all those years. So it's a little bit different for me.
No, I think you bring up a good point because there's a lot of fans out there. He hasn't been that milquetoast baby face all the time since he started coming and going. Fans, for whatever reason, and this has always been crazy to me, they don't do it now with Roman Reigns, but he went through cancer. He got sick. He can't be out there every week. But during my first run, you didn't miss weeks. Top guys were there every single night. They were there every single house show, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And now it's not that way. Now it's, Triple H is awesome. He's giving us time off. Fantastic. Give them time off in September because now what's going to happen is you've got Raw going overseas after next Monday at Madison Square Garden. 3 straight weeks in Europe, Tommy. And John Cena has been confirmed for all 3 weeks because he's shooting his movie in Hungary. But do you think that missing that 1 week in New York City will really take away the punch that they could have had tonight and also next week?
Well, let me weigh this out, Coach. Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, the biggest arena around, the most known arena, or Belgium, where he's going to show up on March 17th. You tell me what kind of reaction he's going to get from a New York crowd or a Belgian crowd. He's going to hear if he was in New York, and everybody will love it. Here's the difference, Coach. Like Gabby said, she wasn't there for Cena. We were there for Cena, where the chairman would literally slam Cena down your throat. People were hating on Cena big time, but he stood with Cena as the ultimate babyface. He did everything, and they got grown to like John Cena. So we watched him grow. Now, he became a little heelish when he did the Thuganomics thing, but Hogan never was a heel. So that's the little bit of difference between Cena and Hogan. But man, the chairman wasn't giving up on Cena. He was the All-American guy, and he was pushing him to the moon. And Lord knows he got pushed, right?
Oh, he got pushed, I mean, from the start. And guess who was at every single rap concert of his? Who was sitting in the car with him all the time? Your boy. It was me when he was telling Nikki. All right, never mind. I digress. But
well, that's why. Yeah, don't get me started on heel Cena and Total Divas. He was a huge heel. Like he was really so mean to her. Okay, so like I've seen I wasn't always the biggest Cena fan. Okay, I was Team Nikki Bella on that shit. So like I'm just saying. Sorry, I cursed. I know it's early in the night. I apologize, but I'm getting into it because it was his true colors was shown on Total Divas and Total Bellas and all that stuff. We should have known. Nikki Bella tried to tell us all along that he's really a heel at the end of the day, and I'm not shocked by it.
Well, there was and I won't get into all the details, but there was a time when him and I were traveling together, and he happened to go on Howard Stern show, and he started to tell a story that I was involved in. And at that time, nobody cares about timing of anything. All they hear is that it happened. And he starts telling the story. I'm now engaged to be married at this time. And I remember driving down the road. I kid you not, my fiance, then future my wife, the mother of my two kids, is sitting in the car right next to me. And I'm listening to this. She's like, oh, this must be hilarious. I go, yeah, it's going to be great. And I'm like, if he uses any names, I'm dead meat. I'm absolutely dead meat. But that's who he was. He loved to tell the stories. He loved to be a part of it. And I have a great affection for Cena. And I know how hard that this truly was for him to do. But also as a former heel, guys, and some people laugh at it, but I did something that had never been done before. A regular announcer had never turned heel before, like I did, attacking Shane with the chair. It's the most fun you can ever have. I guarantee you, Cena and Rock on Saturday night, hearing 38,000 people just light them up was the greatest thing they ever could have felt, because this is Rock's idea. And don't think for a second that Hunter and Rock are sitting down together and working this thing out. That ain't happening. It is Rock, it is Brian Gewirtz, and he's running the show, and Triple H is just along for the ride, in my opinion. And we'll see moving forward how much, Rock's got the Scorsese movie coming up. But to me, this is the most important thing. And Gabby, got 20 seconds that Rock has ever done in the last 10 months or 10 years. And he's got to make this a priority. He can't just disappear now until WrestleMania.
Yeah, absolutely not. You started this, Rock, so you better finish it, because you came back and nobody asked you to, and now you're starting all this bad stuff. You made it messy for Cody. You had to make it messy for everybody. So if you don't finish it, I'm going to hate you as much as I normally did, 3 times as much as you don't want from me. So you better finish the story you started.
All right, the first word brought to you by WWE Shop. Get all of your favorite WWE merchandise right here through BTT Studios. All you got to do is scan the QR code that's on the screen the entire show and go get some of your new Cena merchandise. There's going to be a ton there. I think there'll be plenty for you to pick for. Just a hunt. Just a hunt. All right, we're just getting started here on the last word. On the other side, we got a little promo school, and Gabby has a promo for CM Punk. Also at the bottom of the hour, how would we flip the script? Io Sky, your new women's champion? What are we doing? It's the last word. I love this stuff. Live on Stadium. All right, we continue on here on our YouTube page. And Tommy, you become a worldwide superstar. You really, really have. And I know you were recently on a big podcast. Can you please tell me all about it, sir?
Yes, it's Brian R. Solomon, who used to work for WWE and Digital. And by the way, he put you over big time. He said back in the day when they needed stories to tell or something quick, you were always there to help them cut a soundbite, write a paragraph for the magazine or anything. He simply loved you. And it's in the podcast I did. It's called Shut Up and Wrestle. Brian R. Solomon has a book called The Irresistible Force of Gorilla Monsoon. The Life and Times of Gorilla Monsoon is coming out in late September. As you know, I rode with Gorilla. I drove him around when he was the president, and my name is actually in the book. He interviewed me, and he said he's going to put it in there. So it's a really great podcast. It's on Spotify, Apple TV, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's called Shut Up and Wrestle with me and Brian Solomon.
I was unaware that they had podcasts on Apple Television. I can't wait to
I
watch.
said Apple
To watch.
TV? I'm sorry.
That's all right. Gabby, I know Gorilla Monsoon is a little bit before your time,
Yeah.
but you talk about legendary in so many different ways. Gambler, poker player.
Oh.
I mean, he was literally the godfather of backstage. That's why it's called the gorilla position, where you get to come out.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Did you know that? That's
No.
why it's called the gorilla position.
I thought it was just big like a gorilla. And it's that.
Nope. He was big. But no, that was his spot. So when you come out, I always had my little spot that when I went out that I liked to touch on because it was so nerve-wracking. I remember, you know, when I got music, you got your first music, and all of a sudden it hits, and you're like, man, don't screw this up, because you don't want to walk back through that curtain having screwed something up. I promise you that. I promise you that. All right, Gabby, you fired up? We're at about 20 seconds.
I'm always
I know you. God, I love you so much. You know this. All right, when we come back, we've got promo school time. And also, we're going to promote a little something that Gabby does in her side hustle time, as we like to call it. All right, we're back live on Stadium in just 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the last word on a Monday night. Our live audience is absolutely huge tonight. So thank you, wherever you're watching, on Stadium, on Amazon, on DirecTV, on social media, on our YouTube page. We don't care where you watch us. We just care that you watch us. Now, as always, Big Tommy C and Gabby is with us. And before we get to our next segment, I know, Gabby, that you had a big release of your latest podcast with one of the new stars of the new A&E show. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I sat down with the one and only Mickie James on my podcast, most recently, Gabby AF. And I did bring, because I'm so generous, a little clip of that for you guys. So let me just play that really quick, producer man.
Listen, I'm dying for you to be back in the ring. I think everybody is. You know, I think right place, right time.
Absolutely. I think right place, right time, right moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the season's coming up, so I'm like, oh, maybe some free time on the horizon.
When she wins LFG championship, bring her on.
I'm gonna start up my room right now. Just start doing push-ups.
She's doing push-ups. She's getting ready to go. I can't wait.
Are we gonna see her back, just like we taught Trish Stratus back? Perhaps.
Dude, I hope so. Mickie James is phenomenal. I wanted to see her at the Rumble. Listen, throw her in the new Mania match with Io and Bianca, and it would sell way better if you ask me.
Oh, my gosh. All right. We're going to get to that and flip the script coming up in about 15 minutes. But check out the Gabby AF podcast wherever you get your podcast. And we are thrilled that she's a part of our team.
And on YouTube.
Here at The Last Word. And on YouTube. To me, if you don't have video, I don't understand anybody starting a podcast without video. To me, it's the dumbest thing in the world.
Especially if you got Mickie James. She's stunningly beautiful. If you're not putting her on video, what are you doing with yourself?
That's what I'm talking about. I say the same thing about me and Tommy every single week. You know what I mean?
I'm only here because you guys are so handsome. I'm here. I'm the brain. You guys are the looks.
Tom, we know it's complete BS. That's complete BS right now. Every person in the chat right now is going, that's not happening. By the way, if you want your voice to be heard, you can do it via super chat, super sticker. Let us know. And I would love somebody in the chat says, Coach, you can be a part of Rock's group. I would kill it as a heel in the new Rock group. Absolutely kill it. But we've got some things to get off our chest tonight. So it's time, as always, one of my favorite segments. It's time to go to promo school. You know, all those young kids on that new A&E show better have been watching the show tonight, because CM Punk proved there are hashtag levels to this game. One of the great promos that I've ever seen on live television. Gabby, who are you cutting a promo on tonight?
Clearly, I'm cutting my promo on CM effing Punk, because that start of him on the mic tonight on Raw might have been one of the greatest starts to Raw that I have ever witnessed watching on my couch. I don't think I've ever been more hyped up about anything. I don't think I've ever been so fired up. CM Punk, when he is going scathing on the microphone, calling out every single person, calling The Rock a bald fraud, calling Cena a bald fraud, calling Becky Lynch to come get her man, Seth Rollins. Are you kidding me? He is so babyface calling out these people. You cannot love anyone more than CM Punk. I was so dialed in. I didn't give a crap that Cena, Cody, Rock weren't even on my screen at that moment because all I cared about were the words coming out of CM Punk's mouth and the emotion that he was bringing. And honestly, Rollins coming out in the brawl, usually I hate that. I loved it because what he was saying should make Rollins want to tear his skin off of him. And it did. And I love that you saw them kept feuding backstage, everything. CM Punk, I've never been so into in my entire life. I want that man to beat the crap out of every single person that's put in his way. And this is one of the greatest promos from Punk I've ever seen in my entire life and one of the best starts to Raw ever. That is how you do it.
And I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close. I don't think he's ever been better than he was tonight. That was that. And to cut that on live TV, just to think about all he had to remember and the way they shot it, not being like standing right in the middle of the ring, right in front of that camera. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
He makes you feel like he's just saying it. That's why it's so good. You're 100%. Like, everything he has to remember. He just seems like, oh, who do you guys want me to talk about tonight? Okay, cool. And Pat McAfee's like, oh, The Rock. And he's like, okay, cool. Just annihilates them. And you could just tell it's him talking. Even if he did write something down, you have no idea. It's not like he's reading from a teleprompter. He didn't write down a script. He is just angry and he's pissed. And he's on the side of the fans. So there's no way not to love him. He's just so freaking good. I just want to see him murder everybody.
I was always taught that when there's a little bit of truth to a really good promo, that's when it's the best. There's a lot of truth to that promo tonight. Not everybody likes the fact that Cena and Rock and those guys come back at WrestleMania season. Let's just be honest about it. They don't like it, but they have to deal with it. Mm-hmm. All right, now, a man who's a part of the BTT family, but he has other things to do on Monday nights, but he was fired up tonight as well because there was no Rock, no Cena, no Cody. And apparently he didn't like what they did with Seth and CM Punk. It's time for Russo's rant. Producer man.
Yo, this is Vince Russo with my rant of the week on Monday Night Raw. And I really want to give Raw credit, man. They opened the show hot with a pipe bomb from CM Punk, and then they went to Seth Rollins, and then they went to a brawl. Now, me personally, I would have had them brawling the entire 2.5 hours, different locations, outside, in the river, in somebody's backyard. I would have had them going at it. But my biggest beef is this. Bro, where are the three main players? Arguably one of the biggest angles in the history of the company. No Cody Rhodes, no Rock, no John Cena, no sense of urgency. Come on, guys, commit to the bit. Where are you? Did you have something more important to do tonight? Give me a break. Vince Russo out.
My man, Vince Russo. By the way, one thing I forgot to mention, if you become a premium member here at BTT, you get a star next to your name, and then we will read your comments and the good ones. Abass is a premium member. Thank you very much. Punk versus Rollins. And maybe Reigns will close out night one of WrestleMania. So that begs the question, Tommy, if we see Punk and Rollins next week in a steel cage, and I agree with Russo tonight, where are the stars? Are we going to see those two again at WrestleMania at the end of April?
I don't know who would want to see it, Coach. And by the way, can you imagine back in the day, Vince Russo writing the show? They did all these pipe bombs on Elimination Chamber. And then he tells the chairman on Monday, oh, there's not going to be any Cody. There's not going to be any Rock. There's not going to be any Cena. Can you imagine the reaction you would get from him? And you're absolutely right. They're giving you Cena, Seth next week in a cage because it's at Madison Square Garden and it's nowhere else. I don't think it would happen anywhere else besides the Garden. And then 6 weeks later, you're going to give us the same match. How do you do that? I don't get it at all. I don't know what they're going to do. I hope Roman's involved. Drew's got to be involved. Somebody has to be involved for us to take interest in that match.
I could have swore you just said that I don't get it. You were so good for 25 minutes, Tommy. Oh, so good for 25 minutes.
He did say not to say it.
I know. It's okay. I've marked it down. I've marked it down. Right. Gabby, 30 seconds because we got to get to Tommy's rant.
I love Tommy.
Are we going to see you're not going to see a cage match and then at WrestleMania, see, there's got to be a variation of this if we're going to carry this through the next 6 to 7 weeks.
Yeah, I think there has to be a distraction, and I think someone has to get involved, like Tommy said. I think I wouldn't be mad if Drew got involved. I wouldn't be mad if Roman comes back. But don't give me a phenomenal cage match, a win or clean finish. I'm not going to want to see that ever again. You can't make me want to see these guys kill each other, and then you give me a good match, and that's it, and that's over with, because guess what? Now I'm done, and I'm over it. You got to keep me hooked for the next 6 weeks. So I have faith that they can do it. I just got to see if there's a payoff for it.
Absolutely right. By the way, Jeezy Keezy, he's a premium member. He said Cena decided to go to Africa to shoot another film. I don't know where he's at. I've heard it was Hungary. It might be Africa. All we know is he wasn't there tonight. He wasn't there tonight.
Let's see how good that film does, too. You know?
Yeah, I know. That's right.
Didn't see him at the Oscars last night. I'm just saying. But Batista was there.
Was he like down to 190 pounds now or something like that? 180 pounds? Yeah, he's lost a ton of weight.
Just saying, if you're talking best wrestling actor, it's not Cena.
Can I flow? You're just jabbering all over there.
Sorry, I'm angry at Cena.
We've got a huge live audience right now. Thank you all for watching on social media, on YouTube. Not even our stadium audience. It's absolutely crazy. Producer man just told me how many people are watching. Thank you very much, and thank you to the premium members. All right, Tommy, I know something happened tonight. It involved no shoes, a interview. I don't know what else. What are you ranting on tonight?
Coach, as good as Cena, as good as Punk was tonight, we start out with the opening shot backstage with Kathy Kelly and Jey Uso, and you were a backstage announcer for a long time. When you're bigger than somebody else, you got to spread your legs, make sure you're smaller. First shot, we see her in these white socks. We see Kathy Kelly in white socks in her beautiful outfit, and she comes up to Jey Uso, and she asks him the same question she asked him a week ago. And Jey gives the answer, why are people doubting me? I'm starting to doubt myself. In 6 weeks, how are we going to ramp up this Gunther Jey Uso storyline? Because it has no interest at all. Is it going to get buried like last year's storyline with the end of the story? Now we have Rock, Cena, heel. Is Gunther and Jey ever going to be relevant in the next 6 weeks? Please tell me. And they're making Jey sound like the little engine they can't. I'm starting to question myself. I don't like the way they're going about it with Jey Uso. He earned it at Rumble. He should be confident like he always is, and they're not showing that side of him. So I guess when he does win at WrestleMania, like the people are not going to go nuts anyway, Coach, and say, ye, it's so over the top right now. That's it. Right then and there. Can we please ramp up this storyline somehow?
Somehow. You know they're going down the Kofi lane right now. That's what they're doing. They, Kofi in the shadows of New York City, climb the mountain. Jey Uso always attack.
About that. Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. They're not veer off. One thing they will do is they will stay attached to a storyline until it dies. And this one, they have nowhere else to go. So they got to stick to it and piss you off in the process. Speaking of being pissed off, on the other side, my goodness, Gabby was fired up about the guys. She's even more fired up about the ladies and what happened at the end of Monday Night Raw. How would we flip the script? We're going to do that as we cross the bottom of the hour. We're having a great time. As always, this is The Last Word, and however you are watching, I do not care. Thank you for being here. We are live, as always, on Stadium. Come on back.
Oh, he's turning heel! Cena's turning heel! Holy shit!
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my. No. No way.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What the fuck? What? What the fuck? Oh my God.
All right. Was that as smooth as it felt right there? Intern Dan putting that together for us. Look at intern Dan stepping up. Gabby, I think he's trying to impress you, to be honest with you.
Well,
That's what I think it is.
That was a good start.
Great start. And I saw so many of those. I don't know how to do that editing where you put yourself on the top of the screen and then the video on the other. But I saw so many of those, didn't you, Gabby? Where people were like blown away at what they saw, whether it was in the arena or at home.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like when I'm really shocked, I don't whip out my phone sometimes to like record it. But people seem to be doing very well by doing that. So maybe I should just start recording myself all the time.
That's what the great ones do.
Honestly, though, I would get canceled everywhere because I curse a lot when I'm like excited or angry.
Not you.
We never noticed.
Yeah,
we never noticed.
I would get. No one would use any of my stuff. They'd be like, "Who is this trash?"
I have to turn off my phone every time we go live on Stadium because the bosses call me so often.
I've been so good, Coach. I've been so good.
He's good tonight.
I had to negotiate in. I swear to God, I had to negotiate in a certain number of swear words for Gabby on Stadium with the executives.
And I hit them every time, and it makes it a better story.
It's one way of looking at it.
Yep.
GST, he's a premium member. He says, if I recall correctly, Hulk Hogan didn't show up on Nitro for 2 weeks after the heel turn in '96. Now, GST, I don't remember. I was like in college at that point. You might be right. I don't know. But it ain't 1996. We're back live in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It is The Last Word live on Stadium. We have crossed the bottom of the hour just after 11:30 in the East, 8:30 out here in the West. What a night on Monday Night Raw. Some liked it, some didn't. Still feeling the effects from what perhaps is one of the great heel turns in the history of the business. In fact, I was thinking, what are some of the best heel turns of all time? Producer man, can you help me out with that? All right, it's time to flip the script. And producer man, I'm looking at you. Do we not have a heel turn video? Yes, we do. All right, so here's what we're going to do right now because we're going to flip the script. I'm going to show you guys some of the great heel turns in the history of the business and see if you remember all of them. Roll tape.
Oh, he's turning heel! Cena turning heel! Holy shit!
Smooth. All right, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're just going to go into this. Hey, sometimes tech doesn't work. It doesn't work. We'll run it another time. So tonight at the end of Monday Night Raw, the women, and I thought it was ridiculous, to be honest with you, Gabby, on Saturday when Bianca Belair wins, she backs up, and you got to trust that the other talent's going to be there. She did that whole look back thing, and I'm like, Bianca, she's coming. Let her come and just celebrate. She's not going to crack you from behind. So that was the first thing I didn't like. Second thing was, out comes Io Sky, and I'm like, why in the world would they bring her out to be a part of this stare down when there's no universe that she would win Monday in Buffalo? Until she did. She's the new women's champion. As of this moment, it will be Io Sky and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. It screams selling tickets. Your take.
So here's the thing, Coach. I told you this before we started the show. The minute they came out and they did the intros for this main event, I texted my friend and I said, I have a bad feeling, and I think that Rhea's dropping a title tonight. And he said, Gabby, you're crazy. I said, no, I know things, and I read energies, and I was right because guess what, Coach? I'm always right, and that's exactly what happened, and I couldn't be more angry because here's the thing. I think the shock and surprise of Cena, blah, blah, blah. They're living in this amazing world of let's just keep shocking the people because that's what we're going to do now, right? Let's shock them again. Let's see if we can get them again. Let's spoil them with a nice shocking thing to happen. I'm going to say shock as much as I can. And that's what they did. It was completely unnecessary because in my opinion, you have Io come out. Io is a phenomenal wrestler. Do not get me wrong, and I'm not talking bad about her because she is amazing in the ring, and that match between her and Rhea was awesome. But you cannot tell me that Io Bianca puts asses in seats more than Rhea Bianca. Rhea came out tonight and they were chanting mommy. The effect of her aura, everything about her is so over. I know you're not sold on her doing promos. It doesn't even matter because of what she looks like and how much the crowd is into her. So they can make it up to me by making sure that there's a rematch where she wins it back so that she's at Mania against Bianca, or there's a triple threat match where I see all three of them, because I wouldn't hate it. But I think they got a little too excited. It was the Raw after, and they decided to be like, you know what? We're not going to have any of the guys show up from the chamber. Randy Orton, where were you? I don't know. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to do something with the women to get you excited and say, we were paying attention and, we want to shock you some more and keep you into it. That's exactly what they did it for. And I don't see it being Io Bianca as a main event in WrestleMania, because I do not see that selling. Doesn't mean they're not good wrestlers, because they're phenomenal, but I'm sorry, that's just business. And that's what's true for business, is you need Rhea. You need her. I don't know what that was about. And why was Bianca there?
Gabi. We only need Rhea. I can't even, Tommy, I can't even. That was my Rhea impersonation with the really long words.
That was like Valley Girl. That was bad.
Words.
Valley Girl.
That was a Valley Girl. Tommy.
By the way, I saw some people tonight say it, and Abass, premium member, said it. Probably this will turn into some type of a triple threat. But who will be the third person, Tommy? Is it going to be Rhea, or will it somehow be Becky Lynch coming back and saving WrestleMania Night 2? We kick it off with this match. Think about it. It's knocking Gabi out right now.
This is the only thing that's opening the door for Becky for me right now, is to have Io win tonight, and somewhere down the road, Becky comes back and they make that a triple threat or what? Because really, and like Gabi said, there's no star power here. When you tell me we're going to have Io Bianca instead of Rhea Bianca, I'm like, are you kidding me? That's just bananas. And they don't do things just to do things. So there's reasons why things are being done, and that just opens the door just a little more to bring Becky back in the conversation, because as of right now, nobody's talking about Becky. So you could see that happening, and that's the only thing I could see happening. There is no way, and I'll go nuts if it happens, that it's going to be Io and Bianca at WrestleMania and not Rhea at all.
Let me educate you guys just a little bit. Am I bothering you, Gabi?
I just know what you're going to say, but say it, please.
The bottom line is this. You need to think about business. You need to think about the world. And sometimes our minds stay in the United States. There is a big part of the world over there that's called Asia. And in Asia, they have billions of people. And so now that we're on Netflix, you can't just say the United States anymore, because it's in 85% of this great world of ours, including a major part of Asia. So what they're doing is, whether you like it or not, they are placating, and they're allowing that fan base to now have a champion in the WWE, so it will raise the viewership in that part of the world. It's 101, and I can't believe, with as smart as you two are, that I had to explain that to you.
They have Shohei Ohtani. Don't worry about it.
We're not talking about a pay-per-view, a PLE. We're not talking about that. This is WrestleMania, Coach. I don't care. If this is, you know what I'm saying? This is the biggest stage of all. Rhea doesn't deserve to be there. Rhea doesn't deserve to be defending the title through the entire year of what she's done for that division, where she is literally right now the biggest star on that women's division. Yes, Charlotte just came back, but Charlotte was gone for a while. Rhea is the biggest star. That is who everybody knows. That is what I believe the Raw roster of women is centered around, is Rhea Ripley. So you can't tell me I don't care. I don't care what you're saying about Asia. It doesn't mean I'm not in that way, but I'm just saying this is WrestleMania. Okay, then have Io win the chamber and go against Rhea. But to beat her, to go into it, to headline it with Bianca for that, when it's WrestleMania, then you're really telling me you don't care about the women's division at all. And I don't think that's what you're saying to me, Coach. But
no, I'm not. But you know the one word that I hate more than anything when you talk about wrestling? Not you, when people talk about wrestling. Deserve. And you just use that word.
Yeah.
The WrestleMania is not a little league game. It's not a participation trophy game. You don't deserve anything. Whatever the best storylines and best stories get onto the WrestleMania card, which is why I hate the fact that it's 2 nights. I want it to be harder to participate in WrestleMania because everybody believes what you just said. I put in my 11 months. I traveled all over the world. I deserve to have a match at WrestleMania. And that's not how it works. It's whoever has the best storylines. Tommy, am I wrong or am I right?
No, it's all about storylines. We've been talking about that for years, right? So it's all about the storyline. So tell me the storyline we're going to do with Io and Bianca. Can somebody please tell me that?
Gabby, can you create a storyline for us that makes sense?
No, because I don't even know a lot about Io to begin with, because I don't even know her storyline of being there, to be quite honest. So you can't, if I'm not invested in one of the wrestlers, I can't be invested into the storyline.
That's true.
Hands down. And the Bianca Rhea story writes itself because they have so much history together, coming up in NXT together. They never got that WrestleMania match against the two of them. And that story literally writes itself. I've said that already, and that's what it is. Io, you're going to build that for me now, and Rhea's just going to sit there and take it? Get out of here. And by the way, if Becky does come back, that would piss me off even more.
Because you think she'll walk in after being out for over a year and take a WrestleMania spot.
Right.
Okay.
And listen, she's a star. She's a megastar. We need Becky Lynch back, but I do think we need Rhea. And what's the point of building these stars, which Rhea is, if we're not going to have the outcome of it, of being a star? She hasn't even scratched the surface.
I gotta read a comment from the chat.
Okay.
There are plenty of
I
there
see
are plenty
it.
of people at their jobs 20 years and don't deserve to be management, Gabby. I'm giving you a hard time. But I agree with Mike. What do you think?
Everyone agrees with me because everyone's chanting mommy in every match that she's in. Everybody agrees with me.
So here's
Mike.
here's the other problem. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just like messing with you. I'm not saying that you're wrong. And Mike, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. We love you too.
Love you.
So this is the best version of Gabby, Tommy, right? I just like to get out of the way. The one thing that people in who come here, we try to educate to. We like to have a good fun time. We laugh. But the bottom line is this, that for us to care about any superstar, you have to be able to connect with them. And with all kidding aside, because I had a hardcore run. Tommy, you remember this. Me and Tajiri, we had a rivalry. I beat him on pay-per-view. 1, 2, 3, clean.
Mm-hmm.
But the crowd never really connected with Tajiri because when you come over to this country and you can't cut promos that they can understand, and Io, God bless her, she can speak English, but it's certainly not her first language and she's not fluent in it. And so it doesn't help the connection with the superstar when you can't cut a promo like CM Punk did tonight to make the crowd believe in you. And that's a big issue. It really, really is. Anybody want the last take on this? We got about 45 seconds.
Why is she so believable now, though, Coach? Like you're saying, I don't believe she's that believable and has the star power to carry this.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? So why are they going there? The only reason why I could think about it is opening the door for Becky and trying to get her in there somehow. Because if Rhea wins tonight, right? She goes on to face Bianca. Where does that leave Becky? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But when you have Io go over, now it's a little bit of a different story because people are going to start thinking about that again.
Gabby, I'll give you 20 seconds.
See, I completely disagree with that. I think if you have Rhea Bianca at WrestleMania and the music hits after someone wins and Becky walks out, she's getting that reaction no matter what. And you build that story around the fact that Becky Lynch is back and she's had history with both of them. So you can make any storyline with Becky and these two women. I don't remember Becky and Io interacting at all. So that doesn't make any sense to me and I'm not sold on it whatsoever. And I'm going to want Becky to win because who is Io in comparison to Becky? It's apples and oranges.
All right, on the other side, somebody else we forgot about. It's the last word live on Stadium. All right, speaking of superstars that just didn't show up tonight, Tommy, we become really big fans here at the last word of Bron Breakker. And I don't know why they don't feature him more than they do, but tonight, and it was like, where is he at, along with so many others?
Coach, that's the question of the last 3 weeks. We saw him with AJ backstage with a cowboy hat. We saw him backstage again. And again, he came out while Finn was cutting a promo, and he was on for maybe 3 minutes. This is your Intercontinental Champion. He's a young superstar. He's a stud. Why is he not written into the show? Why isn't there a program for him and somebody else to go at it at WrestleMania with the Intercontinental Championship? Is it going to be Finn? I don't know. But we have maybe 5 minutes in 3 weeks. We have seen Braun on Raw.
And he hasn't looked great, Gabby, because it's such a short period of time. They try to make it so impactful all the time instead of showing that he can do a 20-minute match also, correct?
Oh yeah, and I think the biggest thing about Braun is he does that really, really quick off the rope spear onto people, and it hits them really, really hard, and that's become like his thing. But now it's almost gimmicky in the sense of like if we don't see it, you know, are we going to be entertained because everyone's looking for it, everyone's cashing out for it, like Max now, because it is so cool to see, and he's so quick for a big guy, but he can also go in the ring for a long time. So I want to see him do more for sure. I'm very sold on Braun. I like him a lot.
And Mike in the chat actually brings up a really good point. And this is what I was going to bring up, is that when you have so many different storylines that are going on at the same time and you've got multiple shows, the writing staff has got to be way more detail oriented, because right now they're leaving a lot of things on the cutting room floor that need to be addressed. And when you write guys out and write ladies out and you forget, oh yeah, Jade Cargill, she got beat up 3 months ago, and then it becomes an issue. It becomes an issue. And right now, when you hire 22-year-old kids coming out of college that have never written a thing in their lives, they're just excited to be there and scared to death. They've got to start keeping track of stuff because it's falling through the cracks.
Coach, quickly, what is the most...
No, we're back live in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It is the last word here live on Stadium and on social and on our YouTube page, and it is time, and we still have plenty to talk about for the last word. All right, so Saturday night, a lot of people thought that KO and Sami Zayn stole the show. But Gabby, I'm going to start with you on this one because once again, Randy Orton, who had been gone for a minute, he comes out, looks fantastic. Nobody talked about him. He did not get his quote-unquote stuff in. And then tonight, no Randy Orton. How do you miss on that one?
Oh, everyone knows Randy Orton's my number one. I love that man. I think he is killer. And I was waiting for his return. We talked about it last week. I was like, well, what about Randy Orton? When is he coming back? Finally, he makes his return back, and it's overshadowed for a second time. The first time it was the return of CM Punk. So, of course, we were excited to see Orton, but it was CM Punk coming back to the WWE. And now you had the Cena heel turn. So it's kind of like, oh, yeah, Orton's back. But did you see that Cena turn heel? And I was like, well, at least we'll probably see him on Raw. I'm still waiting. Are they showing it as an extra? Because I didn't see him anywhere on Raw. I think it was a total miss. If you're not going to have Cena and Cody and Rock, okay, whatever. But you can't have Randy Orton there to kind of, jumpstart him being back. He's a killer. He looks freaking insanely good. And he came out and beat the hell out of KO and a bunch of security guards, whatever. And now we're just going to have to wait and see when we hear from him. Like, come on. Throw him on Raw on Netflix 2 days later. Like, I want to see that man. He's the best.
I agree with you, but where is it? Abas said, oh, there it is. Danny Boy says, is that intern Dan in the chat? That's intern Dan? Okay. Don't forget, guys, Randy Orton's on SmackDown with Owens. Intern Dan, if you drive me crazy one more time with one of those things, that's what drives me nuts, is I don't give a damn what show they're on. To Gabby's point, Tommy, this happened on Elimination Chamber.
So is Bianca.
Thank you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And Tommy, you can't tell me that if Randy Orton would have come out tonight, the crowd would have been like, wait a second, isn't he on SmackDown? No, they would have popped like crazy and listened to what he had to say. But since KO and Sami Zayn weren't there, the writers probably thought, well, we can't bring him out because he was a part of that. He's bigger than that, and they need him. A big miss, Tommy, tonight.
Big miss. You didn't have Cena. You didn't have Rock. You didn't have Cody. You could have played up having Randy Orton do an entrance and say, hey, KO, you thought I was gone? You thought you knocked me out for good? Well, here's a little payback, and I'm coming after you, whether it's on Raw, SmackDown, a PLE, anywhere, but I'm coming after you. Cut a promo, gets the big pop, and it makes everybody happy, makes Gabby happy because she gets to see Randy Orton. But how do you have this man not show up tonight when you don't have 3 major stars show up after the biggest swerve of all time?
Premium member Jeezy says difference with Bianca is she's competing for Raw's title now. I guess if they want to make that argument, Gabby, you can.
Well, Cena wasn't there.
What's that?
Well, Cena wasn't there, and he won the chamber too. So that's the argument. I just don't see that as an argument because everyone flip-flops all the time. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory showed up. We don't even know where they are half the time. They were on NXT last week. They were sitting in the front row. They were on NXT last week. You know what I'm saying? KO and Sami Zayn are always on Raw, even though one's on SmackDown. So, like, you can't say that's why he wasn't there because no one's going to sit there and be unhappy if Randy Orton shows up and talks. It's Randy Orton, and he's been gone for a long time. I'll see him anywhere. I don't care.
So let me ask this question.
Okay.
Did they steal the show Saturday night like so many people thought they did? Tommy, let me go first, and then Gabby, give me your thoughts.
Did who steal the show?
KO and Sami Zayn.
Oh, they stole the show up until the heel turn because that was a great match they had. They told a great story in the ring. And when you tell stories in the ring with all that stuff they were using in the ring, you know you did a great job. Then Orton came out, just put the cherry on top.
By the way, Tommy, did you know that Gabby has a sister?
No.
That apparently is named E. Because she's in the chat right now. She said, do y'all know that Gabby Laspisa means perfection? What are we doing, Tommy?
I think it's just pronounced E. Like one long E.
E.
Oh, so it's E. Laspisa. E. Laspisa.
E.
I didn't know your entire family watched The Last Word every Monday night, but apparently they do.
Huge fans of you, Coach.
I'm sure they are. Gabby, the only thing I did not like, and Cole's my boy. Cole is my boy. Travel that I just pulled my best Stephen A. But he clearly was told Saturday night, sell the fact that they're both trying to kill each other. And after about the 20th time of him going, stop it, Kevin, just stop it. They did this. We don't need. This was an unsanctioned match. We knew it was going to be brutal. I got so tired of him doing that, but I did love the match, though. Gabby?
I loved them. I like matches like that where it's pure emotion and they're not. It's not for a title. It's not for anything. They just want to beat the hell out of each other because it's fueled by hate for one another. That's kind of what it is like in real life, and it makes it more real. That's why I always say I don't care about a title match. I want to see Becky and Charlotte just beat the hell out of each other and take my money for it because that would be amazing. But that's neither here nor there because everything's about a title shot. But anyway, I thought it was amazing, and I think it was the perfect way to bring back Randy because Randy came in like a bat out of hell, and he just looked ripped and ridiculous.
He looks ripped, absolutely ripped.
That man, I'm sorry. Like, can we just talk about that? Even like, what? I want to know what that man is doing. That he looks as good as he does at that age. He's such a force to be reckoned with. His presence, just like even all the refs trying to hold him back, it's laughable. Like he will literally run right through you. You people are nuts.
20 years. He just by the time he's done with his new contract, he'll have been there over 25 years. Yeah. And I got to tell you, Gabby, that he was just a young pup when I was there with him the first time. I'm so proud of the person he's turned into because if you would have known the Randy Orton circa 2002, 2003, I could tell you some stories that would blow your mind. And you're like, was he 12 at the time? Like he acted like it.
Yeah.
And he's obviously grown up a lot since then, according to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. So I'm glad to see it because it was not pretty 20 years ago at all. All right, we only got a couple of minutes left, so let's wrap things up as we head towards SmackDown and we head towards what's going to be Madison Square Garden. We've got a full month here, guys. So, Tommy, I'm going to start with you. Your final take on what you would like to see. Give me about 45 seconds is all heading into this month.
I want to see the payoff to Jade. I hope that's one of the first things they talk about on SmackDown. I want to see them really ramp up this Gunther Jay deal to make me interested in it. And I'm interested to see in the weeks to come with Cena and the final boss and Cody, where are they going with this and how they're going to handle it.
Very good. Gabby, your look forward to the month of March.
You got to get me invested. I'm very concerned about this Bianca and Io match. So I'm wondering where they're going to take us for this. And I'm looking forward to Rhea getting back into the picture because it's much needed. You need to build me a little bit more on Tiffany and Charlotte, but I do have hope that that match can really, really tear down the house and be a good one because it's Charlotte Flair. And I just think this whole thing with Cody, Cena, and The Rock, it's beautiful. But if The Rock wants to wrestle, I'm thinking we maybe get a tag match with The Rock and Cena. And you know who I want to see with Cody Rhodes, Coach?
Who?
Mr. Randy Orton. Come to the aid
at
of Cody
Mania?
Rhodes. Yes, I do. How about that?
So you'd have Orton and Cody against Rock and Cena night 1, and then you have Cena, Cody night 2?
Yeah, like they did last year. They had another tag match because I don't think, first of all, we don't need The Rock in a match, but he's going to want to involve himself. And I don't think him in a match, a singles match, makes any sense for what's going on. Why not make Cena and Rock a big badass team together since they want to be mean to everybody, the two of them together? Prove yourself, Rock. Get in the ring and have a match with Randy Orton, who could annihilate you, and Cody Rhodes, who hates you now.
Very interesting. Where does Travis Scott come into all this?
Oh,
he's hanging and banging in the ring right now.
God.
He's preparing. He's preparing.
Yeah, that's scary.
Guys, well done tonight. Well done tonight. All fired up, and I like it. All right, producer man, you know what time it is. Give me that one shot. All right, it's time for you to all go out into the world and understand we've got other shows, Coach and Company, every single weekday, 10 a.m. right here on Stadium. Coach and Bro, I encourage you to go back and watch that on demand from today. Vince Russo goes off. And we are live here every single Monday at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a ton of content there. And then also you can become a premium member as well. That'll do it for now. For Big Tommy C, for Gabby, and I know all you love them both. Producer man, intern Dan, I'm the coach. We'll see you next week right here. The only place you get the best post-Raw reaction. It's The Last Word live on Stadium.